What's up YouTube, Capital G here, looking at a bunch of new cards that have just been revealed in Cybernetic Horizon, and oh my freaking goodness, I am so damn excited. I have actually read over all these cards, and the new Demise stuff looks absolutely incredible. Some of you guys might not really know the history of Demise. I really suggest that you guys watch my Yu-Gi-Oh story on Demise and how it won a Shonen Jump Championship back in the GX days and how incredible the deck was in the past, and Konami is basically revitalizing the archetype and really fleshing it out, making it feel like a full archetype. That's actually one of the things that I talked about in that video, how Demise was like supposed to be an archetype, but it was really just him and his wife, and it was like just like 3 cards in the archetype, and it was like, well, this isn't really an archetype, so it had to kind of become an OTK or bust deck. But now it looks like they're giving it a bunch of fleshed out support, and man, some of these ritual support cards, guys, look freaking amazing. I cannot wait. They're kind of at the end, but yeah, there's a bunch of new Demise stuff. If you guys don't know what Cybernetic Horizon is, this is the brand new set that's going to come after Flames of Destruction. So we get Flood in May in the TCG, which means we'll probably get Cybernetic Horizon around August, so it should be a little after national season. So let's go ahead and start breaking down these cards, because I am very, very excited for them. So we have the new Demise. This is Demise, Supreme King of Armageddon. He's a level 10 Dark Fiend, so he's a little bit, his levels have gone up a little bit. The old one was level 8. This guy's level 10. He's 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense. He's gotten a lot stronger because he was 2,400 last time we saw Demise, so he's definitely been hitting the weights, and he even looks stronger too. So yeah, just because he's gotten older don't mean that he hasn't been keeping in shape and whatnot. This guy has 4 effects, which are definitely real. It says you can ritual summon this card with Endless of the World. That's the new ritual spell for Demise, and that does not mean that you can't summon him off ARA, Advanced Ritual Art, or the old school End of the World. It just means you can summon him with the new card as well. And let's see, his first effect is this card's name is treated as Demise, King of Armageddon, while it is face up or in your hand. So very interesting that it becomes its name while in the hand. You guys will understand that when we get to the field spell, why it actually changes its name. And yeah, okay. Effect number 2, if this card was ritual summoned, ritual monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. That doesn't seem all that important for this guy because he has 3,000 defense and 3,000 attack. You don't even have to summon it in attack mode, to be honest, because its defense is like so sturdy, but it could be very useful for your other smaller ritual monsters, and there are a bunch of ones to actually go over. I actually like that effect. You're not really going to have this card on the field very often if it isn't ritual summoned. And effect number 3, if this card was ritual summoned using only ritual monsters, you do not have to pay life points to activate its effect. And then number 4, which I absolutely love Konami gave it this effect, because this is definitely a homage to the old Demise. It feels just like the old school card 10 years ago. Once per turn, you can pay 2,000 life points, destroy as many other cards on the field as possible. But this guy has a kicker. If you do, inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card you destroy by this effect. So just like the old Demise, this guy basically blows up the world, and this one actually does burn damage to your opponent. But if you only use ritual monsters, you don't have to pay that 2,000 life points. I'm liking where this new Demise support is going. I really do. Then we have the new Ruin, who obviously, if you know about Demise, this is his wife. Ruin, graceful queen of Oblivion. She pretty much is also blowing up the world and helping him out. She's a level 10 as well. She's a light fairy, 2,900 attack and 3,000 defense. I'm gonna say Ruin was probably about, maybe she was like 2,300, the old card. This card can also be ritual summoned with Endless of the World. Effect number 1 is pretty much the same as the new Demise's effect number 1. That is, this card's name is treated as Ruin, Queen of Oblivion, while it is face up or in your hand. You'll understand again when we get to the field spell. Effect number 2, if this card was ritual summoned, ritual monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. I think I like that one a little more because I don't want to get blown out by like Regeki or Kaiju Slumber, or you know, the new elemental like light monster, the new elemental lord or something like that, which basically has a Regeki built into it. If this card was ritual summoned using only ritual monsters, it can make a second attack during each battle phase. So she actually can do a little bit more damage than her husband, and that's kind of how the old card was too, where she can do 29 2,900 twice, which is what? That's 5,800. That's a lot of damage coming out of one monster. If this card destroys a monster by battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that destroyed monster's original attack. That can be another way, even if you have to attack over something. That's a lot of damage potentially if you run over two big monsters and then you're basically, doing damage equivalent to those monsters' attacks and your battle damage. So this chick is going to get her damage in. Now, at first, I was a little concerned because I was like, well, these cards are level 10. How exactly am I supposed to ritual summon them using only ritual monsters? Don't worry, Konami has that covered. We'll get to that in a second. Then there's actually like littler versions of them too. Each one of the monsters has a level 4 ritual monster as well. And I was like, okay, now we're going full Necros level. Now we've got, smaller versions of the big guys and whatnot. We've got the little Demise. This is Demise, Fiend of Armageddon. This is a level 4 ritual. This is a Dark Fiend, 1,800 attack and 1,000 defense. This one can also be summoned with Endless of the World. It has the whole copy name effect. Effect number 2, if this card is ritual summoned, you can destroy one face-up monster. I like that. I don't really see you blowing up a monster on your side of the field that often, but it's just a monster on your opponent's side of the field. You just blow it up. That's cool. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up ritual monster you control. While that monster is face-up on the field, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to in response to your ritual monster's effects. So basically, it's kind of a way to make sure that your new Demise doesn't get like hit with Solemn Strike, or it doesn't get hit with Divine Wrath, or I guess any other way of negating it. It seems okay. The one thing that I will say is it does not have to be sent from the field, so it could be sent from your hand for a ritual summon and you'd still be able to target your Demise and basically empower it. We have the new Rune, or the little Ruin. I don't know why I keep saying Rune. The little Ruin, who is Ruin Angel of Oblivion. She's a level 4 light fairy, 1,700 attack and 1,000 defense. She obviously copies the name and can be summoned with Endless of the World. Then we have her second effect, which is if this card is ritual summon, you can activate this effect. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase this turn. Okay, I think I like that one maybe a little more. It depends on what I'm attacking. If I'm attacking like little monsters, goat tokens, I think I like her third effect more than the little Demise's effect. It says if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up ritual monster you control while that face-up monster is on your field. If a ritual monster declares an attack, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. So basically, no mirror forces, no type of battle phase tricks, no honest, nothing can be done about blocking that attack or anything like that. So the little guys are okay, but now that we're at the field spell, you'll kind of understand how Konami wants you to potentially go about like operating this deck, and it's called Break of the World. It's a field spell. It's actually, in my opinion, probably the best new support card that they have. Once per turn, you can target one ritual monster you control, reveal one ritual monster in your hand. Until the end of this turn, the revealed monster's level becomes the same as the targeted monster's level until the end of this turn. All right, so let me basically break this down because it's very similar to like Domain of the True Monarchs. Basically, if you have the new little Ruin or the new little Demise, the level 4 guys on the field, you can then target, or you then reveal one of the big level 10s in your hand, and that level 10 monster becomes level 4. So it makes it very easy for you to ritual summon them on the field, and then since they were ritual summoned using just ritual monsters, they get those empowered effects as well. This also, the second effect of this card, basically makes sense that all of their names become the original Demise in the original Ruin. The second effect says once per turn, if Demise, King of Armageddon, or Ruin, Queen of Oblivion, is ritual summoned to your field, you can activate one of these effects. So you either get to draw one card or destroy one card of the field. This is absolutely magnificent. They put 2 incredibly practical effects on the card. Number 1, drawing cards will be good until the end of time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Number 2, if there's a problem monster or a problem card on your opponent's side of the field, you can just out it instantly. You can just blow that card up if it happens to be, I don't know, something that's really annoying for a ritual deck like an anti-spell Fragrance or some other annoying floodgate like Skill Drain. You have a way of just popping that card with your field spell, and I definitely like that. Also, it could lead to potentially like doing way more damage, or potentially OTKing your opponent with the new Ruin, as she does 2 attacks and whatnot. Then we have the new ritual spell. which we talked about before, and I think I've said this card's name at least 5 times. It's Endless of the World. I actually think this card it's okay. I don't like it as much as the field spell, to be honest. This card is used to ritual summon Ruin, Queen of Oblivion, or Demise, King of Armageddon. Tribute monsters you control whose levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon, and ritual summon that ritual monster from your hand. Here's the problem that you may have noticed. You can only tribute monsters you control. You can't use monsters in your hand. I have no idea why Konami will not let you use monsters in your hand, because the old school End of the World, I went and looked it up. You can tribute ritual monsters, or you can tribute whatever you want from your hand or from your field. This one only lets you do it from the field, which I'm not crazy about. I just don't understand why they did that. Then the second effect says, during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle this card from your graveyard into the deck, add 1 End of the World, which is the old ritual spell, the one from the GX days, and then you can add 1 Ruin, Queen of Oblivion, or Demise, King of Armageddon from your graveyard to your hand. So the interesting thing is, adding the monster from your graveyard to your hand is optional, but I don't understand why they would expect you, because that doesn't include all the new cards we just talked about. That is talking about the old Ruin and the old Demise. Why they would still expect you to run those cards? I mean, yeah, they are, I guess, feasible, but it's very interesting that they would specify those monsters as well. I don't know why it isn't like any Ruin monster or any Demise, because the new monsters count as the old ones in the hand and on the field, but they do not count as those monsters in the graveyard. So I just think it's kind of weird that Konami kind of still expects you to run the old cards with the new ones. I think End of the World could still be like a one-of, because it is now searchable without really you having to expend anything. But I do think that it's weird that they still want you to run the old ritual monsters in general. Then we've got a new Ritual Trap card, and you guys know how I feel about Ritual Trap cards and archetypes. I don't really like them. If you look at Demise, when it won its Shonen Jump Championship, it was an OTK or Buzz type deck. It barely ran any traps. If you look at Necros, when they were winning all those events, they barely ran any traps. I feel like if it's not a Floodgate, or it's not like an Infernity Barrier counter trap, I probably don't want to play it in a Ritual deck. So this is Return to the World, continuous trap card. Both of the effects are hard ones per turns. Effect number 1, when this card is activated, banish 1 ritual monster from your deck. Okay. Effect number 2, you can send this card to the graveyard. That's a cost. Activate 1 of these effects. Ritual summon the ritual monster banished by this card's effect by tributing 1 monster you control or have in your hand whose level exceed or equal the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. So basically, you can ritual summon during your opponent's turn by tributing a monster in your hand or tributing a monster on your field. It's kind of like Urgent Ritual Art. Okay, that's generally a card that was terrible. Nobody ever played it. It does have another effect that says, if I can find it, or shuffle 1 ritual monster from your graveyard into your deck. Instead of tributing, add the banished monster from this card's effect to your hand. So instead of actually like ritual summoning during your opponent's turn or with this card's effect, you can instead just tutor it by putting 1 of your dead ritual monsters from your graveyard back into your deck. To me, this card seems a little convoluted. I don't think you really need to run it. As I've said a billion times, trap cards don't really work that well in ritual monsters. Spells and monsters are generally just faster and more effective. And then the 2 final cards that I want to talk about are the new Devi ritual monsters. And I'm going to be honest, guys, when I first read these cards, I almost lost my freaking shit. I was like, holy crap, Manju and Sanju have been power creeped in this archetype. There's no reason to run them anymore, because, yeah, these new Devi ritual monsters are actually incredible. They kind of tie the entire archetype up in a nice little bow, because I guess to break it down really quickly, the new Devi ritual monsters, their levels add up to 10. One is a level 4, the other is a level 6. All of their effects are hard once per turns, and basically you reveal either a ritual spell or a ritual monster to summon each one of them, special summon them, and then the one that you summon summons the other one from the deck. So they put 10 stars on the field immediately. It does not require your normal summon at all, and then the other one that you summon from the deck will either search a ritual monster or a ritual spell. Whichever one you revealed, you're going to search the opposite. So it gives you everything that you need to actually ritual summon. You have the ritual spell, Ritual, you have the Ritual Monster, you have 10 stars on the field, you haven't used your normal summon. The only downside of them is that when you use their effects, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. So there's a little bit of kind of like, you know, a Domain or a Monarch kind of downside, but who really cares? You're playing a Ritual deck. Who cares about the extra deck? They're doing that so that you don't link summon, basically. That's the entire reason that I can think of, so that you know, basically don't find some way of like link spamming and Demise. But I think these cards are like absolutely incredible. I mean, getting 10 stars on the field so that you can instantly Ritual summon is pretty damn good, especially considering you do not have to use your normal summon. So, I mean, shout outs to Denko Sekka, dude. Like, that would be absolutely busted to like normal summon Denko Sekka and then summon these and then summon Demise and just blow your opponent's board up and they can't do anything to respond. I think the new Demise support looks incredibly good. I think that it is very faithful to the old Demise from the GX era, and I'm just very happy that they're going and they're revitalizing these old archetypes. So you guys let me know what you think of the new Demise support. I will be talking about some of the other cards that they have revealed from Cybernetic Horizon. I just don't want to make this video like 5 hours long. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.